All right, folks, welcome back to the TNT show. The quarterfinals are out of the way for the college football playoffs, and the semifinals are set. So we're just going to recap the quarterfinal games, and then we're going to give y'all our predictions for the semifinals. So let's go ahead and jump into it.
What was your biggest surprise? Notre Dame beating Georgia or Oregon getting blown out by 20?
Easily Oregon getting blown out by 20.
Again, this playoff bracket kind of showed that it's a little up and down. All the teams that had a bye got beat. Just like the week before, all the teams that were necessarily say shouldn't have been there got blown out.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, is it a coincidence that all the teams who had a first round bye lost? Could be. Or it could have just been that they weren't the better team.
I've seen a lot of people were frustrated with Oregon having to play Ohio State right off the rip. But that's just how the cookie crumbled. That's how the bracket fell out, Maybe home field didn't matter because, the best game by far was Texas and Arizona State. I thought Texas was going to blow them out at first. But in the fourth quarter, in the second half, I'd say mainly the fourth quarter, Arizona State came to play. They were not giving up by any means.
Yeah, they definitely almost willed their way to a win. I will say that. I mean, their season was on the line and their backs were against the wall and they fought back. I mean, they ended up losing, but I really thought when that game went to overtime, I thought Texas was going to lose.
Yeah, they were crumbling. I'm not really sure what was happening, but hey, hats off to Cam Scadaboo. That man, he kind of showed that maybe he should have been in New York.
He'll be a monster when he goes to the league.
Yeah, I'm hoping that he actually gets a fair shot. I think he will.
No, he will. He will.
Maybe I don't think he'll go early. He should. Based off what I've seen in that game, he had 300 yards of all-purpose yards.
Maybe second round.
He'll be the steal of the draft. He's going to be he'll be a workhorse.
For sure. Absolutely.
They at the end of the day, Texas, I knew once they scored and got the 2-point conversion, when I texted you that that's ball game, that was it.
Yeah, but I will say though, at the end of the day, Arizona State proved that
they were
definitely belong. They belong in that top four. I mean, given the way the game played out, I feel like they proved that they belong in the top four.
You could tell at the end of the game that their whole team, especially Cam, was exhausted.
Yeah, I mean,
he was over there puking, and he was over there just puking his guts up, getting IVs, and you could just tell they were. I knew once Texas scored and they got that 2-point conversion, I was like, yeah, it's over. That just put the nail in the coffin. I didn't think they had much more left in the tank. Because that first overtime, when they went for it on fourth down, I was like, yep, they're going for the win. They're not missing. They're not going to miss around. Because I was saying like they can't kick a field goal.
I mean, the 4th and 10 though, with an all-out blitz, I think that was a little questionable.
Yeah, play defense.
Yeah, maybe send one extra man, let everybody else play coverage. Yeah, you don't need to bring the house. It's not 4th and 2, 4th and 1. It's 4th and 10. I mean, your defense has played great in the second half. Like, he's got to throw the ball. You know he has to throw the ball. Why would you empty out all your coverage? Just, I get it. You want the quarterback to make a quick decision, but in that situation, you send one extra man and let everybody else play coverage because you know you're good.
Yeah. And he got beat over the top.
Exactly.
But hats off to Texas. They pulled it off. Um, are they going to win it all? I don't know, because Ohio State proved it came. They came to prove a point against getting their revenge on Oregon. And let me tell
Yeah.
you, Jeremiah Smith, oof, he gonna be a monster.
Like like Dan Lanning said, he could play in the NFL right now.
He probably could. And it's crazy to say that to a 18, 19-year-old kid. I think he's 19. That's insane. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, he's a beast though.
Yeah, so they blew out Oregon. Oregon just had no answers.
Yeah, they
Ohio State came out and punched them in the mouth early, and there's nothing Oregon could have done about it.
yeah, Oregon just dug too deep of a hole in that first half to be able to come back, in all honesty.
Yeah. In the first half, yeah, it was pretty much over with. Um, Notre Dame and Georgia. Not going to make excuses for Georgia, but Carson Beck did not play. Would that have made a difference? I don't know, because he's been up and down himself. So
Yeah,
who's to say that he would have done any better? Would he have done better? I think it would have been a little bit better. I don't think it would have been much better, to be honest. I mean, Stockton threw it. He was 20 of 32 for 234 yards and a touchdown. I think Carson Beck would have made a little bit more of those throws that Stockton wasn't making.
yeah,
I think Beck would have hit more of those deeper shots. But I just think Notre Dame was a little bit too much because they were getting after Stockton. I think they sacked him like 5 or 6 times.
yeah. They kind of had his number all night. He wasn't really able to get any type of comfortability. So
Yeah, they couldn't run the ball. Notre Dame just played defense. They didn't really have to
yeah,
score because Georgia really wasn't moving the ball.
yeah. They just had to, you know,
Georgia had so many chances. Like they got to the
yeah,
red zone and got stuffed on fourth. Like you said, Kirby Smart was going for it on fourth down a lot, and he doesn't usually do that.
yeah. I mean, their defense could only hold up for so long, and they finally gave out at the end of the game. So I mean, they did
Yeah,
all they could.
it's kind of like okay, our offense is sputtering, so we're just going to go for it on fourth down, kicking a field goal. Should he have kicked field goals? Possibly, but their kicker was hurt. They had a backup kicker.
Yeah,
So, I get going for it on fourth down. It is what it is. Could you take it with a grain of salt? Yes, because Carson Beck didn't play at the end of the day. So we really don't know if it would have been a different outcome. But hey, hats off to Notre Dame because either way they had to go against Georgia's defense. And
yeah. I mean,
man,
they did enough. They did enough to win. I'll say that much. They're offensively, they did enough to win, and defensively, they shut down Georgia's offense. Backup
is there
quarterback
something
or
you'd
starting
like to say
quarterback.
about Notre Dame?
Oh yeah. I said it offset, so I'll say it on set. I'll say it on air too. That they definitely earned my respect. They proved that you know they belong,
I mean,
and they got enough.
again, Garth Beck didn't play, so we don't really know.
I mean that's true, but now they get to play a healthy Penn State, so we'll really see.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, if they beat Penn State, I would say in order for them to win the national championship, they're going to have to beat Penn State by I'm gonna say at least 14. They're gonna have to score more than 20 points. I can tell you that.
I don't know, man. I just like you said, I don't really see anybody beating Ohio State. I mean,
That's what I'm
that
saying. They're gonna have to score at least. Well, they're got Notre Dame's got a pretty good defense, but
Ohio State
the
is
thing
averaging.
I'd be worried about is, yeah, Ohio State is just so explosive. Like it's like we said offset. They have a $20 million team. They should be able to win the national championship.
Yeah, but
So
that like I told you, everybody's gonna come in droves yelling out, "Oh, well, they bought their championship roster, this, that, and the third." But I mean, that's the law of
we're
the
gonna
land right
see.
now.
We're gonna see. They have to travel to Texas, and Texas has practically got home field advantage.
I don't think it's
They're,
gonna matter.
I think Ryan Day's trying to prove a point. Like, okay,
We'll see.
I can win the big games. But like we said offset, isn't it ironic that Ohio State won the first ever college football playoff and now they're on pace to win the first ever expansion playoff? Like, wouldn't that
Exactly.
be something?
I wouldn't be surprised. History has a
But
funny way of repeating itself.
but they are playing a pretty good Texas team. They have the Jim Thorpe Award winner on the defensive side of the ball. So they're definitely putting him on Jeremiah Smith. And that's going to be a good matchup because he's a lockdown corner. So we're going
Yeah.
to see. We're going to see how good that matchup is. And if he gets exposed or whoever gets exposed, Jeremiah Smith's going to get his. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Can Quinn Ewers go toe to toe with Will Howard? That's the question. Can Texas score with Ohio State? That's the question. I think we're going to have to. I think that's the question they have to answer. Can they go blow for blow?
Yeah.
I
We'll
mean,
just
Texas has showed that they can. They've been in a lot of big games, a lot of close games. They just can't come out and get down like Oregon did. That's a lot to ask. Because at the end of the day, Ohio State's defense has been playing like the number one defense in the nation. They are swarming people. Texas has got its hands full come Friday. I'll put it that way.
yeah. No, they do.
Now Penn State, I don't know. I think that's going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a low scoring game. I think that game's going to be kind of like the Georgia game. It'll probably be 21-17, somewhere in there. I think it'll be close.
Yeah.
I'm still going to roll Notre Dame.
Mm, I think I'm a semifinal wise.
Based off what their defense looked like against Georgia and how they were moving the ball on Georgia with their offensive line, I think they can beat Penn State.
I don't know, man. I think Penn State is. I think Penn State might win that game. Um, and just I think physicality wise, I think they're about even. But like I said, this is going to be a healthy Penn State, and no, they're not super explosive by any means, but they have a really solid defense, and one of their best players is coming back from an injury, and I think he's going to be able to play. So that's going to make a big difference.
Oh, you talking about Abdul Carter?
Yeah. So I just, like I said, Notre Dame has definitely earned my respect, but I think I'm gonna roll with Penn State to make it to the national championship. As much
Ohio
as
State,
again,
yeah,
I don't want to see a rematch of Ohio State and Penn State in the national championship because we know that's how that's gonna go. I would think. Yeah, it's hard to beat somebody twice, but I really don't see Penn State upsetting Ohio State if they were to make it to the national championship.
not the way they're playing now. Penn State's going to have to blow out Notre Dame. in order for me to think that.
I wouldn't even think it then. I mean, because even if they blow out Notre Dame, I mean, the narrative is, well, Notre Dame really had a cupcake schedule anyways, and their path in the playoffs wasn't really that bad. They got
A
what?
banged up Georgia team.
Yeah, that banged up Georgia team, and their first round matchup was Indiana.
Indiana.
So
So,
that'll be the
but
narrative.
you never know. Notre Dame might come out and dominate Penn State. I don't know,
Yeah, like I said,
but I'm
that
gonna roll Notre Dame. I think again. I think they're going to be just enough. They're going to do just enough. Yeah, Notre Dame's not flashy, but they play old school football. So they're going to come out, run the ball. Again, maybe it's like I said with Ohio State and Texas. Can Notre Dame go blow for blow with Penn State if it gets to that?
mm,
The Penn
yeah,
State's got their tight end has almost 1,200 yards. A tight end.
yeah, he's nice. And they
He's
got
a dog.
both of their running backs have like over 1,000 yards on the season. So
Yeah.
they
So
they are a true balanced offense.
so
Can
they're
you?
yeah. Can they go blow for blow if it comes to that?
Yeah.
And I don't know if they can or not.
So
I think they can.
Texas, Ohio State. Who you got?
Based off what I've seen, I think I got to go Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean they are averaging 40
No
plus points in
disrespect
the
to
playoffs.
Texas, but I don't know if I can put my trust in Quinn Ewers to go blow for blow.
Nah,
But Texas does have a better defense than Oregon. I will say that.
I think I'm gonna roll Texas.
Ohio State's got a really good team. I don't know. I don't want to roll the hype train, but based off what I've seen, again, it's hard to beat somebody twice. Maybe Ohio State had Oregon's number. Maybe they knew what Oregon was going to do.
Yeah,
And Ohio State just wanted it more. You could tell that Oregon was rusty. You could tell. You could tell
no,
they hadn't played football in a couple weeks.
you could definitely see the difference. I mean, compared to a team that's already played uh a game, so they're fresh off of a
I mean,
game.
they
They're coming
beat
in.
two very decent teams. They blew out Tennessee and just blew out Oregon, both by 20 points. So if they beat
Yeah,
Texas by 20, you might as well just go ahead and give them the trophy Friday.
yeah. I don't think it'll matter
Because
who they play in the championship because
if they
I just
beat
don't see
Texas
anybody.
by 20 points, you can just go ahead and give them the trophy Friday.
Yeah, the writing will be on the wall at that point. But like I said, I want to pick Texas to win just because I like their defense. And even if they get down, I think they'll be able to fight and keep themselves in that game. So, but like you said, if they blow them out, you might as well hand Ohio State the trophy because I mean, like I said, the writing's on the wall. Nobody's really going to be able to stop them.
Yeah, if they beat Texas by 20, they'll beat Penn State or Notre Dame by 20. At easy.
Yeah, it wouldn't even matter at that point.
So yeah, if they beat Texas by 20 points like they had the last two games, yeah, you can just go ahead and hand it. You might as well go ahead and cancel the. Yeah, you can just go ahead and hand
So,
them the trophy.
would you say the winner of Texas Ohio State is basically your assumably going to be your national championship winner or no?
I wouldn't say that. If Ohio State wins, I think they'll be able to beat Notre Dame or Penn State. But if Texas beats Ohio State, I think Notre Dame can. I think Notre Dame can have a good game with them.
Yeah.
Because Texas, although they are explosive, they're not as explosive as Ohio State.
Yeah, Ohio State's more
Texas is a little banged
consistent.
up at wide receiver. I
Honestly,
mean,
if I'm Texas, I'm gonna go look at the Michigan game. I'm gonna go look at
yeah.
that
Oh,
Michigan
yeah.
because Michigan was able to stop them from scoring.
Yeah, whatever Michigan was doing, that's what you need to do. Whatever Oregon did, don't go look at their tape. They got blown out by 20. Don't go. I wouldn't even watch their game tape. I might
Yeah,
to
no,
see what kind of routes Jeremiah Smith was running, just to see like, okay, what was the defender doing here? How is he separating himself?
yeah,
Or is he just or let him get his and you're just gonna have to go blow for blow. But like I said, it's in Arlington, Texas. So Texas is gonna have home field advantage to an extent. But Ohio State travels well, I'm pretty sure.
yeah,
But yeah, I think I'm gonna roll Ohio State. I don't want to jump on the hype train, but I mean, you kind of got to seeing what they just did to the number one team in the nation.
yeah, for sure.
So, and Oregon beat Penn State, and Ohio State drug Penn State. So, I don't know. Like you said, if Ohio State has to play Penn State again, I probably won't watch it. I probably will, but
Nah, I probably wouldn't.
I'll watch it for a little bit till Ohio State start to beat them by 14 points, probably. I mean, no disrespect to Penn State. Like you said, it's hard to beat somebody twice. Trust me, it's hard to beat somebody twice. But I'm
yeah,
just glad, honestly, I'm kind of glad Georgia didn't win because I don't want to see Texas and Georgia for the third time. No, nobody wants to see that.
man, it's been a very interesting playoffs. I'll say that the least. The committee so far, like I said, I'm gonna give them their credit because based on the way this playoffs and the way the quarterfinals went, I think they got it right. I mean, excluding the first round, I think the first
How do
round
you feel?
just.
Did we talk about Boise?
Oh yeah, no, we didn't. Honestly, the Boise game, the score didn't really show how the
Yeah,
game
they
went
got
on.
beat by Penn State.
Boise had plenty of opportunities to, you know, assert
Penn
their
State's
dominance in
game
that
plan
game.
worked.
Yeah, no, I did.
It
Make
worked.
the quarterback beat you. He threw 3 picks. He wasn't able to get it done.
It worked. Yes, Ashton Genty still ran for over 100 yards, but he didn't score. He didn't
Exactly.
break off any long runs.
Exactly. He had to work for all them yards. He got 30 carries, 100 yards.
But Penn
I
State
mean,
loaded the box, and they were like, all right, if you're going to beat us, you're going to beat us in the air. You're not going to beat us on the ground. But
yeah,
it's like I said, Boise State's defense was just they were doing what they did all they could. But
yeah. It's
eventually it
just,
got to the point where their offense was struggling that they couldn't really do anything. So their defense was getting tired.
yep. They pretty much suffered the same fate as Georgia. I mean, defensively, you're just out on the field too long. You get tired, and then eventually,
Because running the ball wasn't working. Were they hitting passes? Yeah, but it just wasn't enough. Penn State's defense was just, again, like we said, just too physical. But
yeah,
hats off to Genty. They tried. And they gave it a good effort. I'll give them that.
yeah. The game just got away from him towards the end. I mean, like I said, that final score didn't really indicate how the
Yeah,
game.
their defense was just exhausted at that point. He just broke off a long run, and there
Yeah,
was
he broke
nothing
off
they could
that
do
big
about
run.
it.
Yeah, so I mean that just pretty much iced the game right there. I mean, like I said, they gave it their best shot. Again, they proved their point. Yeah, like again, final score was 31-14, but I think they definitely proved the point that they should have been there. Hate to see it though, because I don't think they're going to be that good next season because GT's gone now. So that was pretty much their shot. I would assume. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know what kind of backup they got.
We will see.
Yeah, so that pretty much wraps up this week's episode. Short episode. Next week we have a breakdown of Alabama and LSU. So that'll be interesting to talk about. A lot of different things. That's recapping their season, kind of going through some stuff. You know, wins, losses, departures, transfer portal ads. You know, a lot of big things have happened for both teams. So that'll be a very interesting episode. Um, But yeah, who you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be Ohio State and Notre Dame, or who do you think it's going to be? Or
I think
Texas
it's
and
gonna
Penn State,
be.
or
I think it's gonna be. Realistically, I think it's gonna be. mm, I'm gonna
well,
say
you picked
Texas.
Texas.
I'm gonna say Texas and Penn State. I think it's gonna be Texas and Penn State, and Texas is probably gonna win the whole thing. I think Texas is gonna have a dogfight uh with Ohio State, but they'll end up coming out on top. I
You
think
think Dan?
Ohio.
You think Ryan Day is going to fold?
I don't think he's gonna fold.
They're going to choke.
I think Ohio State's gonna make a mistake, and Texas is gonna probably win on like a crazy walk off touchdown or field goal or something.
I can see it going into overtime. To be honest,
Yeah, it could.
Texas has got a good defense. So, are they going to get blown out? I don't think so, but they could. But I don't think so. I don't see that. Sark is a really good coach. I don't
Yeah,
see Texas getting blown out unless Quinn Ewers comes out there and just plays terrible.
yeah,
Then
that's
they
the only
might.
way I see that. But if he plays terrible, then 9 times out of 10, I think coach is gonna pull him for Arch
Nah, I
just to
doubt it.
see if.
I don't think so.
No,
I
no,
mean, you could.
he's done it before. He'll do it again. If he really
So
needs, if Quinn is struggling that bad, I think he'll pull him for Arch. I mean, as a good coach, you know for a fact, like, okay, we're struggling. This is the chance to go to the national championship. I got to see if we
yeah,
can spark
Nick
something.
Saban did it.
Hey, you never know. Again, you never know. Best coaches have to make the toughest decisions.
Yeah, you got to make the tough call. But again, yeah, I think it's going to be Ohio State and Notre Dame. But yeah, that's pretty much. And then I think Ohio State's going to win it all because I don't know if Notre Dame's going to be able to go blow for blow with
I think
Ohio State.
whoever wins
Pretty much,
Texas, Ohio State,
pretty much from what we're saying, whoever wins this Ohio State Texas game is going to win a national championship. So,
pretty much.
I mean, we could be wrong, but based off what I've seen from either team,
Yeah,
you know.
Notre Dame can prove everybody wrong and win the national championship.
Speaking of that, does that look bad on Brian Kelly if Notre Dame wins the national championship?
No, I think he kind of.
Was he holding them back?
I don't necessarily say he was holding him back. I think they just based
I
on how
mean,
everything went. Because
in 3 years, Notre Dame's back in the playoffs.
well, if you think about it, the talent one thing, the talent's different. They got transfer portal guys that have come and gone or whatever. And the biggest thing is there's 12 teams in the playoffs now. If it was only 4 teams, Notre Dame wouldn't have been in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, true.
So you got to think they benefit off of that. I think if it were 12 teams and Brian Kelly was still there, they'd still be in there. Just
I was
like
just curious.
how,
I've seen a lot of people talking about
yeah,
that.
it's like I said, there's always going to be a conversation and speculation on like anything and everything. People just find something to talk about. So I think that is a pretty interesting thing to think about, though.
Like, was he holding Notre Dame back? We don't, like you said. It's the first year of the 12-team playoff.
I mean, they made it to the playoffs twice up under him, and they got blown out pretty much. But I mean, it's kind of the way it goes sometimes.
But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. Yeah, like I said, next week we got the Alabama LSU episode. That should be really good. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. We have our next live in person video, the 18th, right? Well, that's when we're
Yeah,
recording it. But
yeah, we record on the 18th, and it'll drop before the national championship.
okay, yeah. Again, we are appreciative of everybody that listens in, comments on our TikToks. Speaking of the TikTok, I'm still working on a few things of the live stuff. I'm trying to figure out a few things to be more interactive and going live and everything. We are almost at 13,000 followers, so Really appreciative of that. Um, but yeah, my plan is to start going live at least twice a week, at least. Um, Starting out. So be on the lookout for that. Feel free to stop by. We can talk about whatever NFL, um, college, fantasy, whatever you want to talk about. So pretty much all I got.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me. I don't really have anything extra. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head with everything. Uh, yeah, I mean, new year, we just gonna keep rolling, and that pretty much does it for this episode. So we'll catch you on the next one.